Hey everyone, welcome back to My Sister's TBR podcast. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Rebecca. We're thrilled to have you join us for our monthly wrap-up episode, one of our favorite times of the month.
Today, we're going to review all the books we read in August, from hidden gems to page turners we couldn't put down. We've got a lot to share.
And you know we couldn't let this episode pass without doing a deep dive into our featured read for August. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. We've got a lot of thoughts and we're ready to spill.
We're also going to chat about the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. It's been one of the most anticipated book-to-screen adaptations, and we've got a lot to say about it.
Mm-hmm. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's dive into all things bookish. We've got a packed episode for you, and we can't wait to get started.
Ta-da!
Okay. Can I just butt in here really, really quick?
Yes.
Because this has been eating me alive all day, and I've wanted to bring it up to you, but I wanted to do it on our episode, and I tried to wait until next month's mid-month episode, which is where we talk about like news and like releases and stuff, but I could not wait.
Okay. What is going on?
Did you know that J.K. Rowling wrote 2 new books?
I did.
Damn it!
I'm so sorry. Do you want me to do you want me to pretend like I haven't?
We're real here. We can't pretend.
But it's so bonkers that we didn't pick that up in our mid-month.
Who was hiding this?
It was in the depths of something.
So from the Wizarding Archive, volumes 1 and 2, so there's 2 volumes, curated writing from the world of Harry Potter. Combined, they are 335 pages. They just released today. And like the book overview just says, if you've ever wondered why squibs.
Yep.
I haven't said that word in a very long time. That is the right pronunciation, right? Squib.
Yes.
Yep. Are never offered a place at Hogwarts. What happened when Vernon Dursley first met James Potter, or how Dumbledore and McGonagall formed their lifelong friendship. From the Wizarding Archive should go straight to the top of your reading list. Contains 80 articles and anecdotes written by J.K. Rowling for the original Pottermore website. Blah, 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 blah. If there's one thing Harry Potter fans have in common, apart from impeccably good taste, yep, it's questions. So many questions. From the simple details that perplex us all, was Professor Umbridge always that awful? Why don't wizards just use phones? To the personal details that bring us closer to J.K. Rowling's writing process, from her least favorite school subject and its impact on Professor Snape's career, to the personal significance of King's Cross and why it's always where the Hogwarts Express departs. This is a veritable treasure trove of answers. Anyway. Yeah.
So, does it say if it's going to be physical, or is it just
Kindle?
PDF or just Kindle?
Yeah. You can.
That's sad.
It's on Kindle Unlimited. No lies. I bought it. And audiobook.
Okay.
For 1 credit.
So chances are, if anybody that's listening, if you've read the articles on Pottermore, you've already read what's in those books.
Oh.
Yeah, because she had all of that. Now, I don't know, maybe there are like certain gems that she has put in there now, but from my understanding, it's everything that was on Pottermore brought into book format.
Interesting.
Which is pretty cool.
I got it on my Kindle, ready to read. So I'll talk about that next month.
Smart.
Yeah.
I'm still too busy nose down into fan fiction to go back to the real Hogwarts.
Yeah, fair, actually.
Yeah.
Respect. All right. Back on track.
How many books did you read this month?
3. So take it away. Take it
away,
away, Ernie. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. So fitting. So fitting.
I finished 7 books.
Holy shit.
It was a pretty good start. I got back into the swing of audiobooks again. And I don't know, I've just been finding more time to listen to audiobooks, which is kind of strange, but yeah, anyways. So I guess best off to do, I'll do 2, you do 1, I'll do 2, you do 1. You know,
deal.
However it works out like that. Okay. So to start off the month, I listened to Moth by Amber McBride.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, it was very short. It's listed as YA poetry. It was very poetic listening to it, but it's not like your regular like verses of poetry. This felt more like a story, but it was just very beautiful. I rated it 5 stars. This was a phenomenal read.
Damn.
It touches a lot on mental health. It was just a beautiful, beautiful story. It's her debut YA novel in verse. It's like a coming of age and a ghost story. Just pretty cool. It grabbed my attention.
Do tell.
So the description said, Moth has lost her family in an accident. Though she lives with her aunt, she feels alone and uprooted. Until she meets Sani, a boy who is also searching for his roots. If he knows more about where he comes from, maybe he'll be able to understand his ongoing depression, and if Moth can help him feel grounded, then perhaps she too will discover the history she carries in her bones. Moth and Sani take a road trip that has them chasing ghosts and searching for ancestors. The way each moves forward is surprising, powerful, and unforgettable. Here is an exquisite and uplifting novel about identity, first love, and the ways that our memories and our roots steer us through the universe. This had a massive plot twist in it. Like it was very left field, like even going into this knowing that it has, you know, like reading that description.
Mm-hmm.
This was still just one of those like mouth open. I had to stop what I was doing and just listen to it and just take it in because it was such a like honest and youthful but dark as well. Like there were some like really traumatic things, and I don't want to give away anything. It was a beautiful story.
Damn.
Highly recommend. Like that's easily a 10 out of 10. A contender for top of the year.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Will do.
Yep, I think this deserves every ounce of love. Yeah.
Okay, I'll add it.
And then next, totally gone the opposite way.
Naturally.
Yep. I read Lovely Bad Things by Trisha Wolfe. This is a dark romance. It's a thriller. It also has like horror mixed into it.
Oh.
This I also listened to the audiobook for. It's the first of a duology. No, it's going to be a trilogy. A trilology.
I mean, why is it not pronounced like that, though?
Trilology. Yeah, so it is a trilogy, but I only read the first book yet. I did rate this one 4 stars. It, probably, like, now that I'm down from the high of it, maybe like a 3 or 3.5. Like, I did really like it. It was a little on the spooky side. Like, spook, like, just...
Give you the heebie-jeebies.
Where the hell... Yeah, kind of, you know? I'll read it, the description. I don't think I read it in our mid-month. I don't remember if I was currently reading this one or not. But I'll read it again. He's the devil, and she's his wicked game. Halen. They say eyes are the windows to the soul, but when he looks at me through hues of slate green and flaring blue embers, I'm terrified of what's watching me from behind his clashing gaze, something primal and feverish that threatens to melt me like fire in ice. I fear falling into Calum Locke's pitch-black soul. But after I'm called to a crime scene to investigate the most gruesome act of violence to descend on the legendary town of Hollows Row, I have no choice but to turn to Callum, to the man I had locked away in an asylum for the criminally insane. He's the leading expert on all things Nietzsche and occult, and now, to get answers, I'm forced to make a deal with the devil himself. Callum. Really, eyes are the windows to the soul? Then I wonder what little Helen St. James thinks of all the cryptic eyes watching her in the killing fields. I wonder if the hairs on her delicate nape lifted, if a thrilling shiver raced over her soft skin. She's desperate for the answer, and she'll do anything to uncover it, even make a deal with me, dangling freedom like bait on a hook. But she's far more tempting to sink my teeth into than any lure, and the pain will taste twice as sweet.
Yeah, I remember you reading that out last episode.
Yes. Yeah, I remember as soon as I started reading. So it's definitely go into it with an open mind, because it's dark romance. Is not meant to be any sort of guideline to anything or realistic for any reason. It was just very like mind-boggling. Like it really plays on everything, like every sense almost. So I think like in the description it does sort of like touch on it that she does end up having him committed to an asylum because she's sure that he was the one who she's sure that he's like a serial killer, but he's deemed like insane, so he's in an asylum. But now she needs his help to find this other serial killer that's you know. So, because he's like this professor, it's just, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy to listen to this book, and it was, obviously it's a dark romance, so you know that there's going to be like the real spicy, really messed up. Like, it was just bizarre on all fronts, but no, I enjoyed it. Enough that like I did start the second book. So
true. Damn.
Yeah. I'd recommend it. It kind of gave me you know the Mindfuck series?
Oh, yeah.
It gave me that sort of vibe.
I can see that.
Darker.
Okay. Which is amazing because I loved that series, but I wanted it to be more. Yeah. You know?
Well, this would be a good one. This would be a good one because it will literally have you saying like, what is happening right now?
Love it.
What was your first book finished this month?
So my first book that I finished was One by One by Frida McFadden. So I was talking about that last month.
Yeah.
No, last episode.
No.
Yep. Last episode.
This month, I tell you.
Oh, okay. So, One by One by Frida McFadden was 295 pages. Mystery thriller, obviously. Plot. One by one, they will get what they deserve. A night spent sleeping on dirt and leaves is not how Claire expected to spend her vacation. She thought this would be a break from the stresses of work and raising her young children. A chance to repair her damaged marriage. A week of hiking and hot tubs with two other couple friends. It sounded like heaven. Then Claire's minivan breaks down on a lonely dirt road. With no cell reception, the group has no choice but to hike the rest of the way to their hotel. But it turns out the woods aren't as easy to navigate as they thought. Hours later, they are lost. Hopelessly lost. And as they navigate deeper into the woods, the members of their party are struck down mysteriously, one by one. Has a wild animal been hunting them, or is the hunter one of them? But as more time passes, one thing becomes clear. Only one of them will return home alive. So I rated this a 3 just because I think I might need to take a little break from Frida.
Yeah. That's a lot of Frida.
I've read 11
spent
books.
More of this month. Yeah. This year, I mean.
Yeah. I've read 11 books of Frida this year out of the 25 in total.
Yeah.
Like 25 total books that I've read so far this year. I keep comparing each of her, and I know they're obviously not all going to be as, like as good as some of her other ones. But I just feel like I'm constantly comparing, and then I'm getting let down, and I'm like, like it's kind of taking away, because yes, this book could be very good, but where I'm constantly comparing it to the ones that made me feel like mind blown, then I'm like taking away stars. I don't know. Anyway, this one was good. It was fine. It started out like pretty predictable, and I was like, okay, like obviously like this person's gonna die, this person's gonna die, this one's gonna go missing. Then the plot twist was just kind of like,
did it feel sloppy to you?
Kind of felt sloppy. It was like there's no way that would have happened. Like someone who was dead came back alive and was like, haha, JK.
Yeah, they faked it.
Yeah.
I could see how she like explained how it was faked. Like to that extent I understood what she meant, but to me it still felt sloppy. Like,
yeah,
like it's just such a classic, oh haha.
Yeah.
You thought I was dead.
Yep. Like, joke's on you. Yeah.
It's been overdone a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. It was mediocre. Like, still, like, good. Still good, but not as good as her other.
Yeah. I felt like it was a sloppy rating job, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And then just, like, it was pretty cool, though, with how it was, like, the dual point of view, and it kept going back and forth between this, like, anonymous person. That did surprise me when I found out who that was. Little tip, if anybody listened to our last episode when I was currently reading it, did I include my guess? Maybe I didn't.
I thought you did.
Little tip to anybody who listened to our last episode and I made a guess. That wasn't right. So, yep. But
no surprise there, not being able to guess Frida's plot twist.
It was pretty good. I read it pretty quick. Like, she's very, very easy to read and also to listen to, like, if you prefer her audiobooks over books. But at this rate, like, I just want to keep reading her to finish all of her books now. Just because, like, I'm on a fucking mission,
The completionist in you.
Yep.
Take a little break.
Yeah.
I'd say. Just to get a fresh, like, mindset on it when you pick it back up again.
True. That is a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What's your next two?
So I finished It Ends With Us after that one. So I'll wait until after. So the next two after that was Silver Foxed by Kayla Gross. Yes. That look on your face. Yes. So this was a novella. It's a contemporary romance. I rated it 3 stars. It was only 160 pages, so I floated through it. But this one was recommended by Megan Cole. I was talking about that last episode. And the description is Silver Foxed is a standalone dad's best friend age gap novella with a plus-size female main character, and it's guaranteed to bring you all the spice. Elijah Astor is my dream man, smart, funny, loyal, and devilishly handsome. So what's the catch? My dad is his boss, and did I mention he's also his best friend? Yep, just my luck. And when he unexpectedly and accidentally crashes a relaxing weekend at my parents' lake house, I can't ignore the sparks between us. So I make him an offer. One weekend of no strings attached fun. One weekend where we will play house, enjoy each other, and pretend that my dad wouldn't completely freak out if he knew we were together. But when our fantasy weekend ends, will we be able to let each other go? Or will my heart be stolen by the silver fox? I liked it, but I didn't love it. I mean, it was well written, and she was a very likable main character. He was kind of... There wasn't really much special about him. He was just...
You're not special.
Like, not memorable. There was nothing really that jumped out to me about him. And there was a lot of spice. I mean, it's a spicy novella. Like, it's meant to just be a lot of spice, right? And she has this thing where, like, she wants to play house with him. So they're, like, calling each other wifey and, like, husband and stuff. And for this weekend, right? Like, they only just met and this is what they're doing. And just, you know, I don't know. There were some parts that I just felt a little, like, icky.
Yeah.
Just because it wasn't, like, my cup of tea, you know? Uh-huh. So, I mean, it's good if that's what you're looking for. It was well written. So, like, I'm not going to say anything about Kayla Gross as an author. Just wasn't up my alley.
Yep, and that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too bad.
Oh, but after that.
Oh?
It just went up from there. So our book club book is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross.
Oh, yes.
When I say it was one of the best books I ever read, I literally mean it's one of the best books I ever read. I rated this 5 stars, and it was the winner for Best YA Fantasy and Science Fiction for 2023. So, I'm not the only one who thinks that this is, like, a phenomenal book. Phenomenal. It's a YA romance. It's fantasy. I mean, you can't get much better than that. It has, like, Shadow and Bone meets lore. It's enemies to lovers. There's just so much feeling in this novel. It's 357 pages. And the description. When 2 young rival journalists find love through a magical connection, they must face the depths of hell in a war among gods to seal their fate forever. After centuries of sleep, the gods are warring again, but 18-year-old Iris Winnow just wants to hold her family together. Her mother is suffering from addiction, and her brother is missing from the front lines. Her best bet is to win the columnist's promotion at the Oath Gazette. To combat her worries, Iris writes letters to her brother and slips them beneath her wardrobe door, where they vanish, into the hands of Roman Kit, her cold and handsome rival at the paper. When he anonymously writes Iris back, the two of them forge a connection that will follow Iris all the way to the front lines of battle for her brother, the fate of mankind, and love. Like, I don't even know what else to say that like won't give anything away, because like I went into this fairly blind. I didn't look at any reviews. I did know that Ilsa really liked it. She had said that like she was kind of worried about it being the book club book because she didn't want to hear people like ripping it apart.
Yep.
And I understand that now completely. But it's a duology. They're like the second book was Ruthless Vows. I haven't read that one yet, but this was just like the perfect enemies to lovers. Like the fact that they were like rivals at this newspaper. And as you're reading this book, you know, because it also has Kit's point of view.
Oh, amazing.
So you know that he's getting these letters from Iris.
Mm-hmm.
And just like how one-sided things are for a while, and then that like inevitable
yeah.
Like I just want everybody in the world to read this book and love it.
I've seen it so many times on TikTok. It's very, very popular. So I'll have to give it a chance.
I was hesitant on it because I do feel myself like getting bored with YA. Like I find that for the most part there's not quite as much. To me, I felt like there wasn't quite as much adult connection like to keep me going. Like I feel like you have to be in that like young state of mind to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I really don't think that's the case anymore. Not with like the last couple of YA things that I've read. Like I felt that I'm getting more out of these stories than I have been getting out of a lot of the adult things that I've been reading.
Okay.
Yeah. So I feel really bad now for ever thinking that about YA. And I'm pretty sure it was only like last month or was maybe last month?
I think so, yeah.
Maybe it was even last episode that I had said about how I felt like I was, like I was away from YA because I felt like it was so young but no, I just have been reading the wrong YA things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this was definitely mature. It had mature tones to it. It's a war among gods and she ends up like in the trenches. So it's massive. Like it's just read it. Oh my god, just read it.
I will, I
please.
promise. My next read.
Frida
so I know
McFadden.
What?
So Frida McFadden.
Yep.
Is it?
I know I just said that my other two books that I'm reading right now aren't Frida McFadden, but the book that I finished is a Frida McFadden.
Is Frida. Naturally.
So, I finished The Surrogate by Frida. This was 342 pages. Obviously, mystery thriller. Everybody just needs to assume this at this point. I don't need to keep saying it.
Yeah.
I haven't read this yet. I haven't read the description.
Oh.
Abby wants a baby more than anything, but after years of failed infertility treatments and adoptions that have fallen through, it seems like motherhood is not in her future. That is, until her personal assistant, Monica, makes a generous offer that will make all of Abby's dreams come true, or all of her nightmares. Because it turns out Monica isn't who she says she is. The woman now carrying Abby's child has dark, twisted secrets, and she will stop at nothing to get what she wants. So, like, right off the bat, this is not going to go as planned.
Obviously.
I rated this a 2.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry, Frida.
Was not expecting that.
Yeah. I just...
Do you think it's because you're after reading so many... Like, do you think that if
I think so.
Didn't read them all so close together, maybe your ratings would be a bit different?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm doing a disservice, honestly. I need to take a break. But I don't know. Like, obviously, right off the bat, it's called The Surrogate. You don't even need to read the description. It's a mystery thriller. Obviously, things are not going to go to plan.
Yeah.
So, it all seems, like, really good to be true. Like, she's just working in an office. Like, she's got this really good job, this, like, perfect husband. There were parts that just gave me, like, weird vibes. Like, why put that in there? It was like...
Oh.
The husband is so, like, in love with his wife, and Frida portrays him as, like, this, just a perfect husband. But then when shit hits the fan, she starts making him seem like he's not this perfect husband. It didn't line up. I didn't like it. I don't know. So anyway, the way that he was acting in some of the situations, I was just like, that's not how he would act. I know this man. He wouldn't say this. But I don't know. It was just to, like, you know, stir up the plot a little bit. That's the only reason why he was, like, changed. Anyway, I can't say too much, but it was just, I don't know.
Just poorly written?
Yeah. Like
plot-wise.
Plot-wise, yeah. Like, obviously, all of her writing is so good. Like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I need a break.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I mean, you did read a lot. One after another.
Yeah. So, I'll switch it up with some other mystery thrillers, I think, just to give her a little bit of a break. Just because they're always very similar. Like, she's got a very similar writing style for every single one of her books, which is, like, great. Like, you do you. She's got her writing style down, and she knows what she's good at writing.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's intended for someone to read this many books back to back to back.
Yeah, to just binge it.
Yeah.
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 Yep.
So, but yeah.
I see a lot of people talking about John Marr's books.
John Marr's.
He might be. Yeah. He might be another one that you might want to dig into.
I'll give it a try. Then my only other one was our featured read.
Okay. Well, I've got 2 more and then the featured read.
Okay.
So that worked out well.
Give her.
The next one I read was another YA fantasy. Look at me go. I finally read Gallant by Victoria Schwab. That's the same writer for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This was the winner for Best YA Fantasy and Science Fiction of 2022.
Okay, damn.
I have not... this was unintentional, but it seems to be a thing now, so I guess I'm going to have to read the winner for the Best YA Fantasy of 2024.
Yep.
So this was 338 pages. It's YA, fantasy, horror, gothic, paranormal. There's a whole lot of genres there. I rated it 4 stars. Probably more like 4.5. This was really well written. The description says, everything casts a shadow, even the world we live in, and as with every shadow, there is a place where it must touch, a seam where the shadow meets its source. Olivia Pryor has grown up in Maryland's school for girls, and all she has of her past is her mother's journal, which seems to unravel into madness. Then, a letter invites Olivia to come home to Gallant. Yet, when Olivia arrives, no one is expecting her. But Olivia is not about to leave the first place that feels like home. It doesn't matter if her cousin Matthew is hostile, or if she sees half-formed ghouls haunting the hallways. Olivia knows that Gallant is hiding secrets, and she is determined to uncover them. When she crosses a ruined wall at just the right moment, Olivia finds herself in a place that is Gallant, but not. The manor is crumbling, the ghouls are solid, and a mysterious figure rules over all. Now Olivia sees what has unraveled generations of her family, and where her father may have come from. Olivia has always wanted to belong somewhere, but will she take her place as a Pryor, protecting our world against the master of the house, or will she take her place beside him?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
So, this is very much like very, like, the gothic themes to it. It starts out where she's, she sees ghouls. They, she's not afraid of them because they can't touch her. She can't touch it. She doesn't get any sort of feeling if she were to touch them. Nothing like that. They are obviously aware of her noticing them because if they make eye contact, they sort of oh, gotta get out, and then just evaporate or go into the wall or something.
That is so cool.
It's really, really cool. The writing for this was phenomenal. It was so descriptive. I seen it all playing out, and that says a huge thing because I don't see things. But with this, I was like this is described so well that you can't help but imagine exactly what it was like. And I don't have the book down here to show you, but in her mother's journal, like, you can tell that, like, her mother is starting to go, like, insane. Like, her letters are getting, like, more and more cryptic, and there's, like, a lot of these, like, pictures sketched out and stuff, like this is all in the book, which is
like, you
so
could see
cool.
her letters?
Yeah.
Sick.
This is what she's had of her mother. Like, she has no memory of her mother. She was left at this school for girls when she was, like, 2 years old. She has no recollection of her mother, but she was left with her mother's journal. So this is all that she knows from her mother. Some of the journal entries say, like you're safe as long as you don't go back to Gallant. So just everything just unravels, and, like, the description says about how, like there's this other place in the shadows where it's Gallant, but it's not the Gallant she knows.
Yeah.
And there's a master of the house. Ugh, I get goosebumps when I think about it, because this book was just so well written, and I will hype this up forever. This was one of my favorite reads this year. This has been a really, really good month.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, like I just said, how good this month was for reading. I ended it off on, like, such a great high note.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just finished the audiobook for Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood.
Oh, how was that?
You haven't read this book?
No.
Oh my god, Rebecca, you have to read this book. I finished, like, I was reading it on my commute, like, from here to Botwood and then from Botwood to here. Like, every time I went out to Mom's or to, like, pick up Maddie, I'd read it going down. Have you ever watched Atlantis, The Lost Empire?
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about now?
Oh.
Disney movie?
I think so. I would imagine I did.
This was, like, 2001, the movie was released. And I spent a lot of years. Like, he was my... You know those, like...
Yeah.
Fictional crushes that you get when you're a kid that just happen to bleed into adulthood, you know?
Yep.
So this is...
Who you pictured?
And I mean, yes. I mean, look at the cover. Did you see the cover?
Yeah.
And then look at the comparison.
Yeah.
So I went into this visualizing that he was Milo. It did not disappoint. So, okay, Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. It's a contemporary romance. Adult.
Oh.
Adult.
Oh. Okay.
368 pages of just pure goodness.
Ugh.
I rated it 4 stars, but again, this is another one that's like 4.5. Like, I don't know what stopped me from rating it 5. I'll probably think of it as I'm going through this review now, but... Oh, I know why, because there was a bit of miscommunication.
Of course.
Yes. Not a huge big deal. Like, I still rated it almost 5. I shall read it the description. The many lives of theoretical physicist Elsie Hanaway have finally caught up with her. By day, she's an adjunct professor toiling away at grading labs and teaching thermodynamics in the hopes of landing tenure. By other day, Elsie makes up for her non-existent paycheck by offering her services as a fake girlfriend, tapping into her expertly honed people-pleasing skills to embody whichever version of herself the client needs. Honestly, it's a pretty sweet gig, until her carefully constructed Elsieverse comes crashing down, because Jack Smith, the annoyingly attractive and broody older brother of her favorite client, turns out to be the cold-hearted experimental physicist who ruined her mentor's career and undermined the reputation of theorists everywhere. And that same Jack who now sits on the hiring committee at MIT, right between Elsie and her dream job. Elsie is prepared for an all-out war of scholarly sabotage, but those long, penetrating looks, not having to be anything other than her true self when she's with him, will falling into an experimentalist orbit finally tempt her to put her most guarded theories to love into practice. So, as it says in the description, her favorite client, she's on this app where it's like fake dating, where she gets hired out to be a fake girlfriend for people. Typically there's a rule that like you don't do second dates, like this is a one and done sort of thing, right? Just to, I guess, to limit who you're crossing with. Yeah. But this guy, like, she's after going to quite a few things with him, like they're really good together, like they're friends, really. And he's his older brother, and like right from the bat he's asking all these questions about her, and like she thinks he's like on to her, but I think it's more that he was like interested in her. Yeah. So like they had this like weird right from the start where she's just like, man, like what does he have against me, like that sort of thing, right? So she had her guard up already with him. But the I can't even, like, the tension and like I just cannot say it enough. Everybody needs to read this book.
Okay, I also just downloaded it.
I think I have a favorite book boyfriend, like, easy.
Oh my god. Yeah. Okay.
And like he was so like, just like broody and like nerdy, like sciencey, and like
we love, but a like smart
not
man.
Too much that like it would like deter from, like, you know, I didn't feel stupid reading it. Okay. So that's
okay.
That's good.
Yep.
But yeah, so I did, you know, I couldn't rate it a full 5 stars because there was a point towards the end when things could have gone a lot smoother if things were just talked about. Just, you know, just say it. Yeah. It's all good. But
just speak your mind.
Yeah. So there's a lot of representation in this as well. Like whether it's like sexual preference or mental health. And the way that they deal with her, I could see myself in her because she's like such a people pleaser to the point where you almost don't know who she is. Like, like I feel that because with every person that I know, I feel like I'm a different version of myself for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Just because I'm a people pleaser as well. Like, I know what that feels like. So reading it from her point of view and having him call her out on that was
eye-opening.
It was kind of eye-opening, yeah.
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 Oh, I love that.
And I mean, I know like it was kind of a bit weird because she does mention like how like tall and how like big he is compared to like her and compared to everybody else. Like it is mentioned a lot. It's kind of a bit overkill, but I don't know. I still don't think I really cared that much. But I could see why some people would be a little put off, you know.
Oh.
But yeah. There are mentions of another couple from one of her other books.
Oh. But
I didn't read it. And I didn't feel like I missed out on anything or got like any spoilers or anything like that. Like it's,
what book?
The Love Hypothesis.
Oh, okay.
Highly recommend. And I have a newfound love for Ali Hazelwood's writing. So I think I'm going to fixate on her books now and just read everything I can.
Okay. Honestly,
she's like, I kind of feel like she's going to be like what Emily Henry is for me. Like Emily Henry is such like an auto buy for me. Like I find that all of her books I've loved.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm going to continue loving her books, so I kind of feel like Allie Hazelwood might be that as well.
I mean, hey.
Yeah, and honestly, like, you know the filth that I love theoretically had me, like, turning my volume down in my car because I'm afraid somebody's going to hear it, and, like flustered driving over the highway.
Clutching your pearls.
Like, this was, yeah, it was good. It was good.
Okay. If I didn't have to edit this podcast episode, I'd listen, or I'd start it tonight.
It's so good. Yeah, so I think that's it for our reads, other than
the featured read.
Oh, I'm so excited.
All right, let's get into it. Okay. So this is the part of the episode if you have not read or do not intend to read. Never have I ever. Oh my god.
I mean, Rebecca, we're drinking, but we're not doing drinking games.
I was reading something else and on my phone.
Do you need to see the cover?
It ends with if you have not read or do expect to read or intend to read It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover, then you may as well leave now because we are going to have so many spoilers. But
yeah, we're dissecting.
Yeah. But if you have no intentions of reading the book, or even if you've only watched the movie, you can stick around, listen to our thoughts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So, It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover was 386 pages. Plot. Sometimes it is the one who loves you who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. And the way he looks in scrubs certainly doesn't hurt. Lily can't get him out of her head, but Ryle's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. Even as Lily finds herself becoming the exception to his no dating rule, she can't help but wonder what made him that way in the first place. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. Okay, we can't talk about the movie yet.
No.
That's after.
No.
So, this was I want to say this was my third time reading it. I can't fully remember, but I think. 1, 2. It makes sense for this to be my third time.
Yeah. This is my second.
Okay. So, I mean, each time I've rated it a 5. I will say, if you're still listening and still if you still want to read it now after listening to us, just read that out. There are trigger warnings. Listen to them because it deals with a lot of on-screen or on-page domestic violence.
Yeah. And I don't think that that's actually listed in her book. I don't think
I don't think so either.
A content warning. And I think that was one of the biggest, I'm flicking through my book here now to see. But that was one of the biggest, there's not, issues that people have had with this book is because it has been, like, marketed as a romance book, but not putting any of the warnings out there, which is unfortunate. But with that being said, I talked to Maddie about this book a little because she's very anti Colleen Hoover.
Yes.
Because of, I mean, it's Maddie, you know, like she feels things 10 times more than what most people do. And I mean, she's at the age where she's seeing these things. She, you know, she's making up her own mind and her own judgment on things. And she knows the whole drama ordeal with Colleen Hoover. And the best way, like, I keep trying to say, like, I try to separate the artist from the art.
Yeah.
And I've said that before. Like, I don't agree with Colleen Hoover, like, or, you know, whoever. Like, if it's something that I don't agree with, then I'll say, like, yeah, like, I don't agree with it. But I still really like the book because I felt like there was a lot of positive messages that you could get from the book.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And, so, like, as we were talking about it, and we were talking about the whole drama with everything that happened with Colleen Hoover and her son, I did say to Maddie, and I don't know how many other people listening to this would feel the same way, but I said, like, Maddie, you got to look at it this way as well. She is a parent. She is the mother of this person.
Mm-hmm.
If you did something bad, I would, or if you did something, like, yeah, like, I'm not going to make excuses for you, no, but I am going to stand beside you no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you know if you're, you know, piece of crap or whatever, but it's my job as a parent to love you unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
That was her job as a parent.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, I can't look at this in a way that's not bias.
Yeah.
Because I'm a parent, so I don't know. Like, I don't know how.
Yeah, no, that makes complete
look
sense.
at it, but
yeah.
But anyways, as we were talking about this book, she was like, why would she put such pretty flowers on the front of the book if it's not a romance book? I said, because it's not supposed to represent, like, a romance book, like love. Like, for one, it's a smashed flower. But also I read that it's meant to portray how you can still, like, blossom, like the victims of domestic assault violence.
You can be smushed,
just that,
but
like,
still
revival.
Yeah,
you know, like,
I like that.
Yeah. So, anyways, that I think people are just getting really confused about the cover because it's so pretty and flowers, and that means love and romance. But no, like, it's meant to be like an imagery of the victims.
And also, but also there can still be love and romance in situationships or relationships with the violence.
Yeah. So, with all that said, I don't even know where to start with this book because I literally have so many feelings and so many thoughts, and they're just like a big jumbled mess up in my head.
I'm trying to get the movie out of my head right now. I can't stop thinking about it. Okay. Book. I'm gonna say it. Yes, Ryle was a piece of shit, but think about the trauma that he went through at just 6 years old.
I know. Yeah. That obviously done a freaking number on him. And obviously that is going to affect every single relationship in his life.
Yeah.
I completely agree. But I also don't think it was Lily's job or responsibility to fix that.
Friggin' true that. That's where in my brain, I'm a fixer. Can't fucking help it. I hate being a fixer, but part of me loves it because I'm like, you know what? Let me take you in. Let me show you nurture. Let me show you love. But then at the same time, at the other end of the stick, I'm like, I'm done mothering these men for their next girlfriend who they're gonna marry. Like, I'm done. But yeah, these men just need to go to therapy. That's all.
Yeah, he needs a lot of help, which thank God, that has been, talked about in the book.
Yeah.
The help that he needed, the therapy he needed, the whatever. But again, there's just so much crap at that point between him and Lily that I don't think any sort of relationship, like romantic relationship, would be able to to grow from that.
Yeah.
And like, I think that, yes, like he's going to be a fantastic dad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do think that. I think, like, because it's really not hard to tell in the novel that he did love Lily.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God. Yes.
100%.
Yep.
But it's just a fact that he needed a lot of help. And with Lily's past, she should not have been the one to,
no. But
have to fix that.
No, definitely not. Yeah, he just had, like, the demons came in, took over during those times when he would, like, let his anger get the best of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, too, why, like, she stuck around, too, because, like, that's all she ever knew was her mom being like, okay, like, it's fine. Like, he's just had a hard day at work. He's just stressed out. You know what I mean? Like,
not just that, but also she wasn't seeing her father in Ryle. So she didn't see her mother in herself. So she didn't look at that like this is the same thing that mom went through.
Mm-hmm.
Like this isn't the same thing that, my mother and my father's relationship, because, her and Ryle loved each other. So there's no way that this is the same as that. So she could easily put that aside, like his few times that like he, accidentally, I'm using bunny ears, accidentally hit her, accidentally, let the rage take over and pushed her, whatever happened. She could look at that and say, he's not the same as my dad, so there's no way that this was done intentionally.
Yeah.
And no, like, with Ryle using, his full normal brain, no, he wouldn't intentionally hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the fact that when he gets angry, he's going into this blind rage and he's not in control anymore.
Yeah. That is so true.
Yeah. That's sad. But I actually read this part out to Maddie because she couldn't understand about that, like staying with somebody that would hurt you. Like, she couldn't wrap her head around that. So I had to read this out to her because I said, like, it's not as simple as that.
The naive mind. I'm glad that she hasn't experienced that yet.
Yeah. We all have a limit. What we're willing to put up with before we break. When I married your father, I knew exactly what my limit was. But slowly, with every incident, my limit was pushed a little more. And a little more. The first time your father hit me, he was immediately sorry. He swore it would never happen again. The second time he hit me, he was even more sorry. The third time it happened, it was more than a hit, it was a beating. And every single time I took him back. But the fourth time, it was only a slap. And when that happened, I felt relieved. I remember thinking, at least he didn't beat me this time. This wasn't so bad. Every incident chips away at your limit. Every time you choose to stay, it makes the next time that much harder to leave. Eventually, you lose sight of your limit altogether because you start to think, I've lasted 5 years now, what's 5 more? Like, that is such...
Yeah.
That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
That your limit just keeps moving as incidents happen.
Yeah.
Oh. There's so many things, like... I want to, like, just read from this book. I just want to read the book to everybody.
Like, I understand people who don't want to read this just because of it being written by Colleen Hoover, but it's so important. Like, I feel like I learned so much from reading that. Like, there's lessons in it.
Oh, 100%. It's really eye-opening. And the fact... Like, even Colleen's note at the end, where she talks about her own parents. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, like, that she has a good inside to it, right? Yeah. Like, I like how it differed from the story. Like, her and, like, her mother and her father. how Colleen still had that relationship with her father.
Mm-hmm.
But he knew, like how he says in there about how she wanted her stepfather to walk her down the aisle. And, like, his reaction to that, like, thinking that he was going to be upset by it, but he was like, no, that man raised you. Like,
Ugh.
he has to walk you down the aisle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because she says there, Colleen, he raised you. He deserves to give you away at your wedding, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it because it's the right thing to do. Like, it just goes to show that two people can be so toxic for each other, can, you know, just not at all mesh together, but it doesn't make that person a bad person.
Yeah.
He knew he was giving up that part of himself to her stepfather because he knew that
he didn't,
you know, it wasn't his place because he didn't raise her. Like, that, to me, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool of him.
Yeah, this speaks a lot.
Yeah, it does. And again, same thing with Ryle. Like, there are things in this book that he did the best that he could, or was such a good thing that he did. You know, so, like, it doesn't make him a bad person. It's just...
He just shouldn't be in a relationship until he goes to therapy.
Until he fixes himself.
Yeah. Like,
right.
At the end, when, like, she says her spiel to him and was like, I want a divorce. And he doesn't say anything. Like, he's just like, okay.
I am going to have to say a little bit about the movie at this point, because I still cried. I bawled like a baby at this part in the movie last night. But I'm still not pleased with how it was done, how it was portrayed by Blake.
Oh,
she was like
Lily.
Yeah, because, like, this was the part that I was waiting for the whole movie. I was like, this is going to destroy me, and it did. I mean, I was sat there and just tears, like, streaming down my face. But she was very smiley and, like, kind of like, you know, in the scene. And that's not what I pictured when I read it. When she says, Ryle, I want a divorce. Then he's like, please don't do this, Lily. Just one more chance, please. His voice cracks with tears when he speaks. I begin to cry because this is hurting me as much as it's hurting him. Ryle, I say gently, what would you do if one of these days this little girl looked up at you and she said, Daddy, my boyfriend hit me? What would you say to her, Ryle? He pulls Emerson to his chest and buries his face against the top of her blankets. Stop, Lily, he begs. I push myself up straighter on the bed. I place my hand on Emerson's back and try to get Ryle to look at me in the eyes. What if she came to you and said, Daddy, my husband pushed me down the stairs. He said it was an accident. What should I do? His shoulders begin to shake, and for the first time since the day I met him, he's in tears. Real tears that rush down his cheeks as he holds his daughter tightly against him. I'm crying too, but I keep going, for her sake. What if, my voice breaks, what if she came to you and said, my husband tried to rape me, Daddy. He held me down while I begged him to stop, but he swears he'll never do it again. What should I do, Daddy? He's kissing her forehead over and over, tears spilling down his face. What will you say to her, Ryle? Tell me. I need to know what you would say to our daughter if the man she loves with all her heart ever hurts her. A sob breaks from his chest. He leans forward towards me and wraps an arm around me. I would beg her to leave him, he says through his tears. I would tell her that she is worth so much more, and I would beg her not to go back. No matter how much he loves her, she's worth so much more. Like, that whole 2 pages.
That was a lot bigger than what was done in the movie.
Oh my God. Was it ever, like, it was obviously very difficult to watch that scene in the movie because I felt Justin, he did such a good job playing Ryle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you could see how he was letting so much of that go in that scene. Like, he was just I don't even know how to explain it, just a puddle at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh, but, like, good for her because her emotions would have been running so high at that point. after just giving birth and seeing her with Ryle, you know, like that would start to like seep into your brain to think like, you know, maybe we can make this work. Here's,
oh my God,
this could be my family.
I would have given in. I would not have been that strong. I will be the first to admit that.
And she was just like, nope, like this is it. Like, it ends with us.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I'm going to preface this by saying to everybody that we have not discussed the movie at all until right now.
Yes, prior to this. Yes, that's right.
So, okay, I just want to explain to you like my experience with watching this movie. So we watched it, what, 2 days apart?
Yeah, you watched it Sunday, I watched it Wednesday.
Okay, 3 days apart. Okay. So I go to the movie by myself to the theater in Edmonton, and I sit down with my like popcorn and my drink, and I'm ready. There's literally 10 girls like in the theater. That's it. It was so dead.
Oh my gosh.
Because at this point, this is like what? It's been playing for like a week and a half.
Oh, true.
Right?
Oh, more than that. It came out on what, the 9th?
Oh, wow.
And you watched it on the 25th?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there was literally like 10 girls there. We were all evenly spaced out. Like, it was perfect. Oh my God. And I could just like before it all started, like I could hear them like, you know, like talking about it, like talking about the book and stuff. And I was like I'm with a great group of people right now. So I just sat there just like munching away, and then it started, and like you could hear the entire movie and like sniffing and sobbing and like, yeah. And I mean, the entire time I had tears in my eyes. There were points obviously where like I actually let them fall and like I was actually crying, but literally the entirety, the full however many minutes the movie was, like I had tears in my eyes, and I was just like, this is amazing. So I know everybody has said bad things about like Lily's wardrobe. Did not picture that at all from the book.
No.
Not at all. Then I seen a lot of things of people talking badly about like Blake's hair during all of the movie.
I think that's just getting a little too nitpicky.
That's too nitpicky. Like, who freaking cares? I wear my hair half that messy too. Like, it's a look.
Yeah.
Who cares? She's got long, thick hair. What do you expect?
Yeah.
Anyway, beside like the wardrobe, I don't know. I just didn't focus too much on it. It was just whatever. I felt like she did like okay, but for the oomph of this story, I feel like, yeah, like you said before, like I felt like she was more smiley than what she should have been, or what she was in the book. I don't know. Mm-hmm. The first thing that I noticed at the very beginning that was different, though, that I wish that they had put in, was when Ryle took a picture of her on the chairs up on the rooftop, and then made a picture out of it and hung it, zoomed in their apartment.
When, at that scene when they're in the apartment, I was looking at the walls.
Yeah.
I was like, where is it? Where is it?
Yeah.
Did they not put it in?
Like, just give up. I know that you need to, like, change, like, a movie up a little bit, but, like, just give us the whole book. Just give us the entire freaking book.
Let me walk you through how it happened for us.
Okay.
So I went with the book club.
Yep.
You're already aware of that.
Yeah.
It was 5 of us, and which is great. Very packed theater, because it may have been out, but we're a little tiny small town. This is actually still just our first week of the movie. So there were a lot of people there. Luckily, I went there super early so I could get all of our seats together, which is great. But anyways, so we sit down, and again, like, super excited. You could tell in the whole theater that people were just, you know, there was people behind us that, like, we sort of had, like, a little mini chit chat with, and just like, yeah, we're all going to be bawling. Like, this movie is just going to
just a heads
make
up.
us all stop. Yeah. And we're just like, yeah, same, you know, it's all good. And as soon as the movie started, when when they're doing their naked truths on the roof, and he said, "I want to have sex with you." I literally looked at Ilsa and I went, "Blah," because I could not, knowing. I wish I could have went into this blind again, not knowing like all of it.
Yeah,
but it also helped a bit because Justin Baldoni is just like
also yes,
so pretty, so pretty.
True.
But yeah, again, same thing with you though. Like there were so many people sniffling and crying throughout like the movie. But what was my favorite? The people that were behind us, like directly behind me, so like the two end seats, they were, I don't know how old they were. They were older than all of us. But they obviously did not read the book.
Oh.
Like they were into this blind. So they were reacting to everything like with Ryle and stuff like live. Like I was just feeding off of this because like the first time that like he hit her or like the time when like he pushed it in, like they were like, "Oh my goodness." Like they were like so like upset and distraught about this, and I was like,
it's gonna happen again.
Yep. So it was fun getting their like reactions and their like gasps and stuff when all this is happening.
Yeah.
And like I don't remember a lot of exactly what was happening because I was still paying like 100% attention to the movie, but the way that they were like just talking to themselves about it, and I could hear like what they were saying, and it was just so like, oh my god, I wish I was watching this like again, like blind, like not knowing everything that I know.
Oh.
But one of the biggest things that irked me was they changed the name of his restaurant.
Why?
What's wrong with Bibbs?
I don't understand why.
I don't know.
Okay, also, I'm not too upset over that though. Did they explain the meaning behind Bibbs in the book? I don't remember.
Yeah, how it was an acronym for Better in Boston, because he kept saying that everything's better in Boston, and he gave her that magnet that had Better in Boston.
Also, which we
and then he named
hardly even frickin' seen. Okay, but yeah, I don't know why they would change it.
That was how Ryle realized the connection between them, because he had put in that article, everything's better in Boston, Bibbs, and the magnet that was on the fridge.
Right.
Yeah.
But the renaming of, what was it, Root,
yeah.
Root. Yeah, so like that also meant a lot too, because of like them talking about, you know, like the roots are the most important.
The tree and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it made sense. It's just why change?
Yeah.
Like, and I felt Atlas needed more in the movie.
Oh my god,
it was
yes.
very, very focused on Ryle and Lily. Like, I don't think I would have been very much of a Team Atlas watching that movie.
No.
If I didn't read the book.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, just a heads up to anybody that's watched the movie and haven't read the book yet.
Go
read the
do
book.
it.
Because you will get so much more of Atlas and his history and...
Honestly, though,
but
he was perfect. The casting?
He was.
Perfect.
Yeah. The younger Atlas, I think, was a little different than what I had imagined. A little, but maybe, again, it was just because we didn't get very much.
True.
Like, we didn't get very many scenes and very much of what happened.
Yeah.
But did you, like, the person that they had picked for young Lily
she was identical to Blake.
Like, there was a few times that I had to sort of, like, hold on a second. Right, this isn't Blake right now. This is young Lily.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
They did such a good job. Also, I'm actually glad that they did not dive too deeply into the letters to Ellen in the movie.
I know. You only get, like, the couple snippets of, like, where they're sat there on the couch watching it, and when she first goes back and she opens, or it first flashes back to her and she's writing in her journal, you can see Dear Ellen up on the top. Those are, like, really the only In the book, there's so much, and it was so cringy. I just blocked that out.
Same.
That whole, like, Dear Ellen, like, it was just, to me, it was just journal.
Yeah. I literally, I would, like, skim next page.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, but, I mean, who am I to judge somebody else's journal?
True. I feel pretty good about the movie. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, comparing it directly to the book is, like, it makes me feel a little sad.
Yeah.
Because they did miss out on so much. Like, even with Lily and her mother's relationship.
Yeah.
That was barely touched on in the movie. In the book, like, they have, like, these big, like, heart-to-hearts. I feel like they missed out on a lot of connection between her and her mother in the movie.
Yep. Agreed.
I also didn't like how they made it seem like at her father's funeral, when she tells her to, like, just list 5 things you love about, or, you know, whatever, about your father, and she gets up there, and it's like she just blanks, like she doesn't know what to say, like she's overcome with, right? And how when she leaves, she says, "I'm so sorry," but in the book, you know, it's because she has nothing good to say about her father. She doesn't want to say.
She did it on purpose. She was like, "Oh, my top 5 favorite things of my father is,"
and then just stoically just stand there and look at, right?
Mic drop.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That was such a, like, good for you, Lily. But in the movie, they made it seem like she just clammed up and...
Yeah.
In the book, her mother says something about that. Yeah, she says, the day you gave your father's eulogy, I know you didn't freeze up, Lily. You stood at that podium and refused to say a single good thing about that man. It was the proudest I've ever been of you. You were the only one in my life who ever stood up for me. You were strong when I was scared. Be that girl, Lily, brave and bold.
Like, why leave that out? That's so important.
And her flower shop was supposed to be this spunky, bold, colored, you know, steampunk flower vases. What the hell happened? Where did that go? Like, the whole point of her flower shop was, you know, doing this big, different thing with the flowers because nobody liked getting flowers.
Yeah, like, you know, dark and moody.
Yeah, right? Like, she was, like, fucking, like, painting flowers and stuff in the book. And, yeah. So, apparently, the reason that the restaurant's name changed, Colleen told E! News that the name change was due to not having as much time on screen to develop earlier conversations.
Oh, so they only had, like, a set amount of minutes for the movie. Yeah, I guess
so they couldn't put in that whole thing with the Better in Boston and the magnet and stuff like that. Yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
And how Lily shows up at the restaurant instead of her calling Atlas. Like,
yeah. So,
like, when Ryle finds his number in the back of Lily's phone, and in the book, she has his number memorized. So so she calls him, and he comes up to the apartment to get her out.
Yeah.
Like, that I felt was way more profound than her just showing up at the
oh my god, yes,
restaurant.
Like, that in the book showed Atlas's, like, heroic, like, he's like, he'll do fucking anything for Lily.
Yeah.
But also another thing too that I didn't really like that was different was in the end of the movie, or at the end of the book, when she sees Atlas again, she's walking down the street with the baby in the stroller, and then they see each other. But then in the movie, she's just walking through a farmer's market with, like, her baby with her mom, and then it's only Lily and Atlas that see each other, which is, like, still, like, a pretty big moment, but, like, in the book it was so much.
Yeah, it didn't hit the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, yeah. The fact that she drops, then she's like, wait, Atlas. Like, she drops the baby off with Ryle, and then she runs back to Atlas. Like, that's such a more, I just remember that.
Yes. And he, like, for a brief second thinks that she's still with Ryle because she just says, like, and she's just like, no, like, it's his day with her. And include him into them being separated. I tagged a couple parts of that in the book because when he calls out to her, he says, Lily? And then I stop. I turn slowly because I felt that voice all the way to my toes. There are only 2 voices that have ever done that to me, and Riles doesn't reach that far anymore.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah, and yeah, he actually like meets her then because he's like, wow, she's gorgeous, Lily. What's her name? And Emerson, we call her Emmy sometimes. And he's like, you look great. And
I love him.
That's when she says, we're really late. Ryle has been waiting for a half an hour. And when I say Ryle's name, there's a sadness that reaches Atlas' eyes, but he tries to disguise it. He nods and slowly steps aside for us to pass. It's his day to have her, I clarify, saying more in those 6 words than I could in almost full conversations. Yeah, so the other part that I have tagged here on this is when he says, Lily, he says quietly, I feel my life is good enough for you now, so whenever you're ready. Yeah. And then she's like, do you donate to charity? And he laughs with confusion. Several. Why? Do you want kids someday? He nods. Of course I do. Do you think you'll ever want to leave Boston? He shakes his head. No, never. Everything is better here, remember? And then she said, okay, I'm ready.
I love
like that ending. Ending is so much better than what we got in the movie.
And you know what? We will never get a movie that is as good as the book because there are no men to exist like that because there are no men in real life that are written by women.
Nope, exactly.
You can act all you want, but you can't fake that.
Yeah. No. Nope. Do I need to read it so we can relive it?
Please.
He pulls me tight against him and I laugh. With everything that has happened since the day he came into my life, I never expected this outcome. I've hoped for it a lot, but until now, I wasn't sure if it would ever happen. I close my eyes when I feel his lips meet the spot on my collarbone. He presses a gentle kiss there, and it feels just like the first time he kissed me there all those years ago. He brings his mouth to my ear, and in a whisper he says, you can stop swimming now, Lily. We finally reached the shore.
I'm crying again.
And we didn't get that.
I want an Atlas. Also, in the movie, did they even really talk? I feel like I'm deaf. Okay, hold on. In the movie, I feel like I'm yelling because these are noise canceling, so I can't hear anything. I should have done this long ago. In the movie, did they even really talk a whole lot about why she got her tattoo where she got it?
No, because she just keeps making excuses like just saying, oh, you know, I was just a teenager. It was just a, you know.
So it's like, if you know, you know.
Yeah, I think it's like hinted that it has to do with Atlas in the movie. Like I did get that vibe because she obviously felt uncomfortable talking about it.
Yeah.
And him obviously biting it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they skipped over that part. Yeah. I honestly, you know what? I like leaving some things out because it's like, you know what? There's parts of this that's only for the girlies who read it.
That's how I feel about Harry Potter.
Touché.
There's so much in the Harry Potter books and you're just like, yeah, that's totally what happened talking to people who watched the movies.
Yeah. That's like anytime.
But really, you know.
Anytime anyone's like, oh, who's Peeves? I'm like, okay.
Only like one of the best characters.
Sit the freak down right now. Shut up.
And like how many people think that Neville's parents are dead?
And they don't even come right out and say, okay, why are we
I don't know.
We could talk about this all day long,
us.
But I know.
We could.
Okay.
Overall, I did like the movie. It was a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it shed a lot of light on stuff, on like domestic violence, and strength.
Heck yeah.
Compared to the book, the book is better.
I mean, we're always going to say that.
Yeah.
That's always going to be said. But I agree.
But yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Okay. Well, I guess if y'all stuck around and listened, thanks. I know we're chaotic and we can't keep like one train of thought going at the same time, but it's still fun. Yeah, so again, follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe to our Spotify and our Apple Podcasts.
And to rate us. All right, bye-bye.
2 weeks.
See you in 2 weeks.